Ever pondered the hidden truths behind the mysterious deaths and assassinations during South Africa's apartheid era? This era, marked by racial segregation and brutal oppression, is a complex tapestry woven with threads of resistance, resilience, and unfortunately grim fatalities. Today we navigate the labyrinth of South Africa's apartheid era, unearthing the clandestine stories of mysterious deaths and assassinations that have been shrouded in the shadows. The apartheid era, from 1948 to early 90s, was a tumultuous period in South Africa's history. The nation was a boiling cauldron of political unrest, with racial divisions stoked by a system of institutionalized segregation. Amidst this convoluted climate, several key figures emerged, voicing their dissent against the oppressive regime. However, their voices were often silenced, their lives abruptly ended in circumstances that remained shrouded in mystery. Mysterious deaths and political assassinations became distressingly common, with each tragic event leaving a trail of unanswered questions. The victims were often influential figures, their powerful voices resonating with the masses, their actions a thorn in the side of the apartheid regime. Yet their demises were frequently veiled in secrecy, with official reports often contradicting eyewitness accounts and circumstantial evidence. From the charismatic Hani, whose assassination sent shockwaves through the nation, to Ruth First, a brave journalist who met a tragic end far from home, these untimely deaths were a stark reminder of the brutal lengths to which the apartheid government would go to maintain its hold on power. A revered leader, Hani's assassination sent shockwaves across the nation. Hani was more than just a political figure. He was the heartbeat of South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle. Born in 1942, in a small village in the Eastern Cape, Hani's humble beginnings fueled his fight against the oppressive regime. As the leader of the South African Communist Party and chief of staff of Umkhonto we Sizwe, the armed wing of the African National Congress, he embodied the spirit of resistance. April 10, 1993, a day etched in South African history, marks Hani's untimely demise. On this fateful day, Hani returned home from a morning stroll, only to be confronted by a Polish immigrant, Janusz Wallace, who gunned him down outside his home in Dawn Park, Johannesburg. The murder weapon, a pistol provided by Clive Derby Lewis, a right-wing politician. Theories surrounding Hani's assassination are as numerous as they are controversial. Some believe that the killing was a desperate act by the apartheid government to derail the negotiation process, while others argue that it was an internal power struggle within the African National Congress. Yet, there is no concrete evidence to substantiate these claims, adding another layer of mystery to Hani's death. The controversy that followed Hani's assassination is equally intriguing. Wallace and Derby Lewis were sentenced to death, but their sentences were later commuted to life imprisonment. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission denied them amnesty, claiming their act was not politically motivated. However, in 2015, Derby Lewis was released on medical parole, causing a public outcry. Despite the passing of years, Hani's assassination remains a topic of intense discussion and speculation. Theories continue to be spun, controversies keep simmering, and the quest for truth persists. Hani's legacy, his contribution to the struggle against apartheid, remains indelible. His life and death continue to inspire millions, while the circumstances of his assassination leave a lingering question mark in the annals of South African history. The mystery surrounding Hani's death continues to provoke thought and debate. Ruth First, a prominent anti-apartheid activist, met an untimely and violent end. Ruth First was not just a name, but a beacon of resistance against apartheid in South Africa. Born to Jewish immigrants in 1925, she was deeply rooted in political activism from an early age. Her voice echoed through the corridors of power, challenging the oppressive apartheid regime. Ruth First's fervor for freedom didn't go unnoticed. It was the 16th of August, 1982. On this fateful day, a letter bomb, carefully concealed in an envelope, marked the end of Ruth's fight for justice. The bomb was sent by Craig Williamson, a notorious spy for the South African police. The explosion claimed Ruth's life instantly, leaving a chilling void in the anti-apartheid movement. The theories surrounding Ruth's assassination are as intriguing as they are heartbreaking. Some believe that the apartheid regime, threatened by Ruth's rising influence, orchestrated her death. Others suggest that it was an act of revenge for her constant defiance against the regime's brutal policies. But perhaps the most chilling theory is that Ruth was merely a pawn in a larger game of political espionage, a casualty of the Cold War's global machinations. Ruth First's assassination sparked international outrage. The United Nations Security Council, in its Resolution 554, condemned the South African government for its brutal repression of the anti-apartheid movement. Around the world, Ruth's death was seen as a glaring testament to the violent lengths the apartheid regime was willing to go to maintain power. Yet in the face of such brutality, Ruth First's legacy remains unscathed. Her life and death serve as a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression. She continues to inspire generations, reminding us that the fight for justice, no matter how perilous, is always worth the struggle. First's death remains a poignant reminder of the brutalities of the apartheid regime. Her story is a testament to the countless lives lost in the fight against apartheid, a dark chapter in South Africa's history that we must never forget. Steve Biko's death under suspicious circumstances sparked global outrage. Now, let's delve into the life and death of this remarkable man. A celebrated anti-apartheid activist, Biko was a beacon of hope in South Africa's struggle for freedom. As the driving force behind the Black consciousness movement, he ardently challenged the oppressive apartheid regime. In September 1977, Biko was arrested for his political activities. While in police custody, he suffered a fatal head injury. The authorities claimed he had inflicted this injury himself in a bizarre act of suicide. However, evidence of brutal beatings and torture painted a vastly different picture. Autopsy reports showed multiple bruises and abrasions, indicating a violent encounter rather than a self-inflicted wound. The circumstances of Biko's death raised many questions. Why would a man so committed to his cause take his own life? Could it be that the authorities had a hand in his demise? The official narrative was met with widespread skepticism, both locally and internationally. Allegations of a cover-up began to surface, further fueling the suspicion that Biko's death was not a suicide, but an assassination. The international impact of Biko's death was profound. It brought the horrors of apartheid into sharp focus, stirring global condemnation of the South African government. Biko's death became a rallying cry for anti-apartheid activists around the world, galvanizing their resolve to dismantle the oppressive regime. In the years that followed, Biko's legacy grew. His life and death became a potent symbol of the struggle against apartheid, inspiring countless others to take up the cause. Even in death, Biko's voice could not be silenced. His words, his beliefs, and his sacrifice continue to resonate, reminding us of the price paid for freedom and the relentless pursuit of justice. As we reflect on his life, we are left with a poignant reminder of the human cost of apartheid. Biko's death continues to symbolize the struggle against apartheid. His story, like so many others, serves as a testament to the courage and resilience of those who dared to challenge an unjust system. Ahmed Timol's death plunged South Africa into a vortex of controversy and suspicion. A beacon of defiance in a time of widespread oppression, Ahmed Timol was a man whose life was cut tragically short. Born into a family of Indian immigrants, Timol was an anti-apartheid activist, a member of the South African Communist Party, and a teacher who used his classroom as a platform to challenge apartheid's dehumanizing narrative. In October 1971, Timol was detained by South Africa's security police. Within days, he was dead. The official report claimed he'd leapt to his death from the 10th floor of Johannesburg's police headquarters, but many doubted this version of events, alleging instead that the staunch activist had been brutally tortured and thrown from the building. These suspicions were not unfounded. Decades later, in 2017, a landmark inquest overturned the initial findings. It concluded that Timol had indeed met his untimely end at the hands of his captors, making him the first apartheid-era victim to have his cause of death officially changed from suicide to murder. Internationally, Timol's death sparked outrage. It became a symbol of apartheid's brutality, galvanizing global efforts against the regime. His story, though shrouded in mystery and marred by tragedy, continues to inspire countless individuals in their fight for justice. The mystery of Timol's death remains a haunting specter in South Africa's history. We have journeyed through the dark corridors of South Africa's past, shedding light on hidden truths. We've traced the stories of Hani, Ruth First, Steve Biko, and Ahmed Timol, uncovering the mysteries and controversies that enveloped their deaths. We've seen how their assassinations were not merely isolated events, but part of a systemic campaign of political violence during apartheid. If you're intrigued by the unconventional, eager to challenge historical norms, and ready to explore the charted but with a different lens. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.